composer, but I have a great deal of admiration for young people who want to do it.
Everything is, market driven.
Music's always been a business. Even Beethoven, you could read Beethoven's letters on his finances. He was an incredible businessman and worked very hard at making sure he got his money that was due to him.
I always felt that it was necessary for music students to participate, to learn, to understand that what they were getting into was a business and not necessarily getting into something that was just an art.
Being successful as a composer, I guess you have to define what you mean by successful, whether that means fame, money, personal satisfaction.
I think talent. I know a lot of composers out there. When I think of the ones that are most successful, it's not always the most talented or the best composers I know out there.
So the only way to become successful as a composer is to live your entire life composing.
Certainly a successful composer, the more general term, is going to be someone who's at least known as getting performed. Whether that means they're making a lot of money at it, that kind of depends. Some commissions, if an orchestra or wind ensembles commission you to write something that may be fairly lucrative, but those don't come just every day, so it's difficult.
Well, I would think in terms of a living composer trying to get music played by a major symphony orchestra. It is indeed a challenge because the rehearsal time is very costly. Most orchestras will have a maximum of a maximum of 4, sometimes as few as 3, sometimes as few as 2 rehearsals for a classics concert that might be played, for 4 times that week.
Most composers do something more than just compose these days. They get involved in the electronic side, so they're able to do recording and editing, PA systems, things like that, run a studio. They're able to, other than that, they could do arranging. Most composers in academia, though, wind up teaching. Very few composers these days are able to make a living off of simply composing.
Hopefully, if you're a composer, you like teaching, and that's you enjoy doing both, as opposed to just a fallback kind of thing.
I know a number of people who have taught at the university level, and I don't know too many happy ones.
If you want to go into other sides of it, there are of course things like commercial music. Don't necessarily mean pop music, but commercial music includes writing for television, radio, theater possibly, but it's still a little on the artsy side, so it's not quite as lucrative commercially.
The film industry seems to be very healthy.
That particular path requires an enormous investment of time and energy. You have to be out in California. You have to meet with people. You have to deal with lots of flaky people. You have to deal with people that don't really care about music. Music is just a production value.
Certainly you can make really good money doing film composing. Again, you're not going to make as much as a star of a movie does or the director, but still you can make a really good living.
It's very difficult to break into the field, I think. And a composer who goes into that needs to be willing to do the grunt work, get the coffee, start out with doing orchestrations and arrangements, making parts, working for somebody and working their way up the ladder. You
have to hope that you indeed get that break, that incredible break, that somebody recognizes your talent and that gets you to the next level.
I think that it takes a lot of hard work of self-promotion, being at the right, a lot of luck, be at the right place at the right time, and a lot of connections.
It's so critically important to know how to network in this business because it's a very tight-knit type of industry.
I think that when you're writing music, the whole point is to try to communicate something.
Let's face it, how many people really care about classical music or concert music, as I like to call it?
In the conservatory where I went to school, the string faculty would tell their students, don't play any new music. You should be practicing your orchestral excerpts or your concertos so that you could get a job as a soloist, start a career as a soloist.
I think that's partly how we will survive, is through the contemporary music of our day and through constantly new pieces. But I don't think the classical music industry knows that, and in not knowing that may not be able to survive if it doesn't learn that survive.